that the way that Vermonters are getting and going to get power delivered to their homes and businesses from now to the future, whether you like it or not, it's changing. And it changed, the generation part of it changed a whole lot faster than I will even tell you that I ever thought it was going to. And when it changes at that rapid pace, for better or for worse, we run into issues, and we've run into issues. And we have, I'm colorblind, so I think they're yellow vests.
Green.
Green, sorry, I'm right being colorblind, so.
Victim.
Anything bright looks yellow to me. So we can see it here visually. You know, the tensions or the divides that we've seen in the state. And I think that this bill goes a long way to paving over those differences. And it goes a long way to making the transition forward. Not only that more Vermonters understand it, but that they participate in it and are part of it. And when this bill first started in the Senate, I told people, what you don't know about me, if you don't know anything about me, is what you see is what you get. I am not devious. I'm a strong card player because I believe in the cards that I have in my hand. And a lot of times it works because nobody believes I'm telling them the truth when I'm telling them the truth, and they go winding away through different paths, trying to figure out, what the hell is that Klein guy up to? Well, I'm up to exactly what I told you that I'm up to. And why am I telling you that? Because I'm going to tell you what I'm up to right now. When this bill first started in the Senate, I consciously did not pay attention to it, did not follow it. I did not want to have any part of it because I wanted it to be whatever it was going to be without having anybody make any insinuations or accusations that I had any hand in either making it good, worse, bad, or killing it. Okay? I absolutely did not know what was in that bill until I read it when it passed the Senate. And for a lot of times, for a lot of these bills, I still don't know what the hell is it. No. But I actually believe that the work that this committee and that everybody has been doing on this bill, this is a must-pass bill for me. I do not want to end my career in this State House without giving towns the voice that they want and deserve and that we need to make our transition to the new energy future workable and doable. And I do not want to leave this building without giving a measure of hope and a path to resolution if some of these generation projects are going to make neighbors uncomfortable or they don't like it. I want that there is a pathway that those voices are heard and that there are resolutions in place that make, for most people's lives, more livable. I don't know any other segment of our economy that makes that kind of accommodation to every Vermonter. I don't know that there's a damn store built in anybody's town that gets built, 100% of the people living in that town thinking it's wonderful, or that somebody doesn't have an issue with it. But this bill is gonna go a long way to, if you've got a project proposed in your town or in your region, you are gonna have a voice, and you are gonna see pathways that you can easily partake in and see for resolution. Now why am I saying all this? I'm saying all of this because I think that the two most important things that are in this bill are the town planning piece and requiring the Public Service Board to do rulemaking on sound for future wind projects, okay? And I think everybody in this room agrees with that. So now we're at the nitpicky part of the bill. A word here we don't like, or a word there we don't like. But as long as we have the overall general concept in place, we need to move forward on it. So, unlike any other bill that I have ever worked on, what I'm going to ask of everybody, okay, because I'm going to suggest to us that we ain't leaving this room tonight until this bill is passed. And what we normally would have done in 3 days, we are going to do in 1 day. So we're going to be from here, we're going to be here till 1 o'clock, till we're called to the floor. People get hungry and get up and go and eat and come back at your, we may be done by 1, that'd be great. At your leisure and your pleasure. I will tell you that I have to leave at 10 of 12 because Senator Bray and myself are on VPR's Vermont edition. What?
No golfing.
No. On this bill. And as soon as we're done, I will return. And then as soon as we are off the floor, we're here. And I don't care about cabaret. I have already canceled all my participation in cabaret in anticipation of that we may be here, because this is the most important thing to the people in the state of Vermont on this issue. So what I'm going to ask, you know, usually when a committee does a bill and we get done with it, we stick together and we resist or accept amendments from the floor as a whole. We don't particularly, and it's an unwritten rule. It's about courtesy and how we interact with each other going forward on all sorts of other issues and bills that we're involved in the State House. We usually frown upon that if a member of the committee, after a bill hits the floor, does not introduce a new amendment to the bill that just came out of the committee, or votes against the committee unless the committee has given that member a special pass. That's what happens in this building, and it's about keeping as much unity and togetherness that you can keep, because there's so many more other issues that you as a committee, that we as a committee have to go on. But here's what I will suggest to us. If we're working on a part of the bill, and there are some, you want 10 feet, I want 15 feet, okay? And 15 feet rules the road. I will say to you, go get a friend of you, if that's so important to you, okay? Go get a friend of yours in this body, introduce that amendment on the floor when this bill hits the floor, and we'll deal with it as an amendment. Because that, at least, we can work with in the timeline. I am so worried that if we don't get this bill out of this committee tonight, that it may never pass. Because this bill's going to get caught up in a lot of BS minutia going forward, okay? And the only thing that we can't control is that once we get it through the House, when it goes back to the Senate, and we have to leave enough time for the Senate to deal with whatever it is that we've sent with them. And if we are going to conference, there will be enough of a difference in the bill that conference will not be a 20-minute session. And then, once the conference committee, if we come to an agreement, we have to measure the time that's left in the session so that it gets through all stages of passage without having to depend on rule suspension. And with that timeline in place and hoping, and I hope to hell my career ends on Saturday, May 7th. Today's the deadline. And we'll be better off for rolling up our sleeves and going to work on this and getting it done tonight. So that's my soapbox derby. And with that, one more. Robin is not feeling well. I asked him to stay for the game plan, and now I'm going to tell him to go home.
That'll be on the phone.
And he'll be on the phone. And when it's when we get to the time to vote the bill, he will come back in and vote.
Oh, we're at a different time.
Okay. So with that, Bobby, have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to say I totally agree with everything you said. I would just like to request, instead of going till 1 o'clock, could we break at 12:30 so everybody, members and guests, can get a chance to eat?
We'll stay in better humor.
Without
Well,
everybody.
being that I won't be here.
You won't care. You won't care.
Sure, Bob.
All right. Thank you.
Vice Chair will,
Okay, anything else? Okay, so Aaron has wonderfully